everyone, so today we're going to take a look at gluing a nut onto the back of a watch to remove the backing. Please take note this is a screw back on an old Caravelle Admiral watch. This actually went to a customer after I did this video and after I figured out how to use acetone to remove all of the super glue from the backing of this watch. Stay tuned and check out some of the tools. And feel free to leave some comments if you have some questions. So currently what you're seeing is me using naphtha, and I thought I could loosen the nut with that, but it definitely does not work. So I had to go to the dollar store and grab acetone. You can use probably any nail polish remover with acetone you have at home. Another thing that you need to note is you should have a kit if you don't already have a back remover kit like this. It comes with a pry tool and some other fun stuff. I have some on my website at www.diywithchelsea.com, but you can also buy these. So what I'm using here is a wrench to remove the nut from the back, but I had tried to soak it in naphtha, and naphtha is not the way to go. So take note of that. Do not use naphtha. So as I mentioned, this was a Caravelle watch. It is mechanical inside. It has jewels. I believe this was 17 jewels. What I had to do to remove the stem here, I took a tiny screwdriver to this, but honestly I had to use an X-Acto knife because the screw is so tiny. So if you're stuck in a position where you can't use your mini screwdriver, I would suggest an X-Acto knife. It's dainty enough to fit in there and it won't damage anything. So here it's coming right out. Or is it, I suppose. So I guess round two I had to go back in again and loosen the screw a little more. You always want to try to keep the screw in there, so just loosen it enough to where it's just about to fall out and you're able to get the stem out as well. I'm not sure why this one was being so difficult. I did have to wiggle it a little bit to get it out, but always be careful doing this. So here is the actual watch itself, the back of it, the front. This is a Caravelle, as mentioned. It is ticking, it's running in the video, you can see. So here I have a little metal dish that I use for acetone now and naphtha, which is pretty much lighter fluid. I wouldn't mix the two together, so I cleaned it out from my first trial there. Just a reminder, lighter fluid will not remove the nut from the back of your watch. So I'm going to prepare this dish right now. I got a nice squeezy acetone. It was different. Oh, see now I had to walk away and fight with it because I didn't know how to use it. Okay, there we go. So just drop it in there. I think it said when I was reading up, because I've never done this before, like 5 minutes, but it was well under 5 minutes. It was maybe 2 minutes and I was able to take it out. And that handy dandy X-Acto knife I had, I was able to use it to start scraping this. So I was not able to scrape this off, so I just took a paper towel off to the side here and wiped it, and then dropped it right back into the dish for probably another 30 seconds just to get that little amount back off. So here we are scraping the remainder off here, taking a rag or paper towel off to the side here again. I do have a microfiber cloth, which I wouldn't recommend, but that's what I was using actually at the time. So the last step here is to shine her up, make sure everything's off the backing, and you will need a 3-pronged tool. You can also use a 2-prong. I also have those available for purchase. So here we're going to put the backing back on. Just make sure you have your seal in there. I don't know if this one had a seal. It should have had a seal, I just didn't show it. So make sure that's back on there. It's usually silicone or plastic. Sometimes they're broken, sometimes you'll want to replace them, especially if the watch is considered waterproof, and this one should be water resistant. So next I'm going to put the watch band back on, and this is another tool that you'll need. It's just a little tiny pronged tool where it presses the pin down so you can get it in. So those are also available, but they also come in the kit, so if you get a kit you usually get that tool. So while I'm washing the band itself in the ultrasonic cleaner next door, which you can hear, I'm just taking some rubbing alcohol. This is actually rubbing alcohol I have on a Q-tip to clean off any grime from, I don't know, the last person or just... So I'm taking the X-Acto knife, and just be very gentle if you do this. I'm just trying to get tiny pieces of grime out of the backing, between the backing and where I screwed on onto the actual bezel there, or the case. There is a decent amount in there, but we got it clean, and like I said, just use some rubbing alcohol until it cleans up, and you can always polish it later if there's some scratches, and we have some products for that as well. So last but not least, we're finishing up the cleaning here, and I'm gonna go take my two-prong tool and just double check that it's tight. Be careful because you don't want to scratch the back. And we're getting the Admiral Band, which is pretty cool. This is the first one I've seen. This was actually one of the first watches I got in my watch batches, so the fact that it's finding a new home makes me happy. So just take your pins, reinsert them, and you're going to need your little tooth tool here to press it back in. Sometimes you can use your fingernail, but mine are pretty frail most of the time, or damaged from doing this a lot. So here's the little tool. Mine's actually broken, but it has enough oomph to get it back in there. Sometimes this can be easy, other times not so much. Have a little patience, and I had to flip over the watch and look at where the pin was actually going, so you don't see it here. But I flipped it over and I was looking at it from a different perspective. There you go, right there, my thumb going in there. So be patient, it'll go in. Once you hear the snap, check it. Yeah, and just like that, you're done. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.